shall we? This is going to be my least viewed video ever. This is Archangel 8, issue 1 of 5. It is one of them comics by a company that isn't Marvel or DC or even Image. I'll start with the good. This is drawn by the artist of New Invaders, who saw one of me videos. That is the only reason I got this even. I saw his name on the cover and was curious what he was doing now. I got this when I went to hospital 2 years ago, in March 2020. And I was so out of it and in pain and on life support in intensive care that I didn't actually read it. It just sat next to the bed. I couldn't read. It was impossible. I was not capable of actually reading. I tried loads. And it was like my brain wasn't paying attention. Anyway, with that all said, what I didn't know then and what I do know now is that this is an Upshot comic. Upshot is Alex Alonso's company after he got ditched by Marvel. And the minute I found out about that, I was wanting to hate this and everything they make. Alex Alonso, he destroyed Marvel Comics. He took my favourite comic book company and he made it so I never wanted to touch them ever again. And now, the Marvel comics are something that didn't even seem like Marvel to me. I'm not talking in the sense of all the diverse new legacy characters introduced during his time as editor-in-chief. That was not what destroyed Marvel at all. I was there at the beginning. It was Alex Alonso from day one. 2011, straight off the bat, everything he touched or had his hands on was what I never want my Marvel comics to be. A lot of people going, Marvel, they turned to shit in 2016. No, they turned to shit in 2011, the exact second that Alex Alonso became editor-in-chief. Hulk, Uncanny Excellent Men, Avengers vs. Excellent Men. Long before Natalie Portman became Thor, or Snowman was gay all along. So that is my bias against any Upshot comic and Archangel 8 out of the way. Huge obstacle to overcome. Insurmountable even. Some indisputable positives are a lot of these books advertised. They have artists whose names didn't light up the boardwalk, but they are quality artists. Another is that the paper quality is wonderful. Okay, so Archangel 8. It is a book about angels from the heavens who are now soldier boys, I think. The Archangel Gabriel has given it, that is the main character's name, Gabriel has given it the assignment of carrying out a hit on someone. Whenever I do these sorts of non-Marvel, non-DC comics, I try my hardest to be polite and not compare it to something else, even when it's really obvious. I also try not to be mean or unfair, because they usually didn't have the backing or the big corporate weight behind them that Marvel did. But I will say there is far too much swearing, and it comes across as a bit immature. Like the writer cannot believe he's been allowed to swear in a comic. So now everyone is effing and jeffing and calling each other bastards. The art, I think stylistically, it's interesting. It's nice to see this artist's stuff in a different light, and that it can really work for the sort of moody, dark, crime, Western war comic. I don't know what genre to really put this in. I have not read the rest. I likely will not read the rest. But the art is appropriate. It is a comic I think you understand more if you had seen a blurb or a solicitation beforehand that explains what it is. You're picking up the pieces as you go along, and my lack of explaining or talking about much is because I did feel a bit lost for most of it. I wasn't sure what to expect. I wasn't sure what I was saying. I wasn't sure who was who or what was what. I didn't know if it's the comic's fault really, or how much of that is me. The obvious truth that has been staring us in the face the entire time is that this is totally not the typical sort of comic that I gone for. We have action here, 8 shooting a bunch of dudes. Not sure who or why or what dudes, but this is maybe the worst review ever. I didn't follow it very well, but as I said, that might just be my brain switching off, because it is very far removed from my bright and colourful superheroes. Maybe when I left the hospital, they never actually fixed my inability to read this comic. It might have been specific just to this one comic. And it is an angel with wings. The cover gave that away, really. And then here is an interview, a chat with the writer. And I kind of wish stuff like this was before the issue, really. He talks about how much he is inspired by Gareth Ellis and his Punisher comics. That is him saying it, not me. And it is nice to see someone talk enthusiastically about comics, even if they are comics that I didn't like. The way he talks about Punisher in relation to Spider-Man also makes it clear he is not one of those awful Gareth Ellis fanboys who thinks that all superheroes are shit automatically. I think this is a classic example of something that likely reads better or more understandable in a collected edition. I didn't recommend it because it is not my thing, and I didn't really get the most out of it to compensate for that. There are some people I think will appreciate this and enjoy it. There is military stuff. There's guns. There's Warzone sort of stuff. Just because I didn't care doesn't mean everyone else feels the same. I will give it Archangel 7 thumbs up.